So we made a left into the gas station. So to get back to the highway, which way should we have gone?
Make a right.
Make a right. But he was just staring, like he wasn't moving. He wasn't blinking. Like there was a complete, like, just like blankness to his face. Like there was nothing there. And I'm like, hang on, this can't be right. So I slow down and notice that it's the same gas station.
Oh my God. Welcome back to the I Jupiter podcast. I'm your host, Tom Franklin, and today we have a Maria, and we're going to get into a strange occurrence that she had. I heard about this through the Magical Journey podcast. Go over and like and subscribe to his channel as well. Daniel Lee Cahoon, great friend. Is it Lee? Daniel, we'll just say Daniel Cahoon for now. He changed his middle name or he added it into it, and now I can't remember it. But anyway, fair enough. If you keep coming back to the channel, please do me a favor, like and subscribe to the channel. Every bit helps. And all my links are in the bottom. If you want to connect to me and you have a story or anything you want to talk to me about, please do me a favor and contact me through my email at the iatjupiterpodcast@gmail.com. And with all that out of the way, let's welcome to the show, Maria.
Hello.
Hello, welcome to the show. Thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. So you just came back from some type of show that you were at. Where were you at?
I did. I was a vendor at Dragon Con this year.
Dragon Con? What's Dragon Con?
It is the third largest convention in the United States. So you have San Diego Comic-Con,
Okay.
New York Comic-Con, and then Dragon Con.
Okay, I guess I have to up myself on all those. Okay, so what did you do there? Were you a vendor there? What was that? Were you a speaker? What happened?
No, I was a vendor. I do art out of recycled books.
No kidding,
And
that's
so
cool.
I originally applied for the art show, and they said, well, we only do fine art for the art show. And I was like, okay. And then they messaged me, the vendor people messaged me and said, hey, the art people sent us your stuff. Will you be a vendor? And I was like, abso-freaking-lutely.
Cool.
People wait years on the waiting list to be a vendor there. So it was a huge honor. So
Well,
yeah.
that's fantastic. That's fantastic. So Maria, do me a favor. Tell me a little bit about yourself and where we can find you.
Well, I am, you can find me on TikTok under Weeping Angel 81 or the Quaint Librarian. I'm also on Facebook under the Quaint Librarian. So those are my social medias. And yeah, I'm a stay-at-home mom of 4 kids, and I do cool book art. And
Oh yeah, we already kind of fired off the round before we got to this part. But okay, you do book art and you do these shows and things like that. So, well, let's get into your story. Let's go from the beginning. How it is that you want to say it. I'll be following you, and I'm looking forward to what is about to transpire.
okay. All right. So from the very, very beginning. So it was Sunday, August 12th, 2007. And it was me, my two brothers, R and T, my sister Kay, and my sister-in-law L. And my favorite uncle, like in the entire world, he had passed away. And he's like a grandfather to me. I didn't really have grandfathers growing up, but so he's more like a grandfather to me. And so we all decided we were gonna go to Florida together in my car. Because one, I had the biggest vehicle, so it made sense for all of us to drive together. And so we went Saturday, hung out. Sunday they did the actual like burial, and then like the after services. I'm sorry, stop. Sorry, that's my husband. He's gonna make me like totally like lose track of where I was. Sorry. Where was I? Oh, so we did the like, you know, you go to like the aunt's house, and we were doing like the food and all that stuff. You know, there was people, cousins I hadn't seen in years. So we decided we were gonna stay a little bit longer than we originally planned on. And so I'm like, all right, well, between me and my brother T, we can swap out places and drive home, you know. And so we just started heading back home on 75 North, not thinking anything. And then I just all of a sudden, like, I had to pee so bad. And so I'm just gonna go off the next exit. I don't care. There's got to be something off this exit. So I got off just the next exit that I saw, and there was nothing there. It was just like trees and like a stop sign. And I was like, okay, well, I'll just, you know, I'll go right. There's got to be something. And we were driving, and it seemed like forever. We drove for a good 15 minutes. And I remember just being like, okay, like there's got to be. It was nothing but a single, like 2-lane road with the single, like chopped up white dotted line, and then just trees, nothing but trees. And there wasn't any curves, there weren't any roads, there was no houses. It was completely just, there was just nothingness. And then we see a light up ahead, and I was like, oh, it's a gas station, thank God. We pull in, and I just immediately like just jump out of the car, like I'm not thinking anything, and I just run in, do a real quick like look for the bathroom, and then I bolt into the bathroom, do my business, and I come out, and that's when I see like my brother and my sister-in-law, my sister staying there. My sister rushed past me, and she ran to the bathroom. And like I remember like the looks on their faces, like especially T, he was like just intently like staring, and he looked at me, and he did that whole like, you know, when somebody's like trying to get your attention but they don't want to say anything out loud, and they're like, you know, doing like that. So I looked over, and that's when I saw the guy standing behind like the counter. He was this old man, and he just very, very like skeletally, like gaunt face, you know, dirty white t-shirt with like stains and stuff all over it, dirty overalls, and just but he was just staring, like he wasn't moving, he wasn't blinking, like there was a complete like just like blankness to his face, like there was nothing there. And him and my brother was kind of like, I'm like, all right, let's just get our snacks, get our drinks, pay for gas, and get the hell out of here. And so I kind of like walked around, because it was like 3 little like aisles, and I kind of walked around, and I was like, this just looks odd. Like the labels looked off, and I was looking at it, and I was like, okay, like I know those are M&Ms, but they didn't look like modern M&Ms. Like
right, the packaging was different or something.
Right, it's like it was off, and that's when I started noticing like everything's covered in dust, like everything's just dusty. And I was like, okay, well, we're not going to touch any of this stuff. So I looked over the drink cooler, and like drink cooler was just like, oh, it was so gross. It was like grungy and dirty, like the glass. It was just gross. And I was like, well, we're not going to get anything here. Let's just get out of here. And like, I just had the feeling of like, there's something wrong. Like, this isn't right. Like, there's something wrong. And the feeling just kept getting like stronger and stronger.
Okay.
And so, and I just kind of went back around to where my brothers were, my sister-in-law were. And my sister comes out of the bathroom, and I grab her hand, and we all make a beeline for it and just get the hell out of there. And I'm like, we'll stop at another gas station or another exit or whatever. So we had made a left into the gas station. This is important. So we made a left into the gas station. So to get back to the highway, which way should we have gone?
Make a right.
Make a right.
Mhm.
So I fly out of there, make a right, like tires squealing, rubbers, we leave tire marks, whole 9 yards. And we're going down this road. 15 minutes, 20 minutes, nothing. And I'm like, okay, like this isn't right. Like what the hell? And then all of a sudden, like we see like up on the left-hand side, like the break in the trees and like a light. And I'm like, hang on, this can't be right. And I slow down and notice that it's the same gas station.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, what the hell? And of course, like being logical, I'm like, okay, I must have looped around and not realized it.
Right.
Like, try to think logically, my brothers, of course, I'm the oldest. I'm the big sister. So it's my job to protect my family. And I'm like, what the hell? And that's when I noticed that the guy is now standing at the window staring at the road at us.
What?
So,
okay.
At this point, it's like they're freaking out. So I just go straight. Okay. Because I'm like, I'm not going to turn around in this gas station because this is just one, it's scary as hell. It's weird. But I don't know, like, does this dude have a pew or something? Like, because it's middle of nowhere, southern Georgia. And you've got these 4 little Puerto Rican kids and a Mexican kid. Like, I'm thinking, like, are we going to get, like, something bad going to happen to us? And then it's sad that, we live in that kind of world, but that was what my thought process was. And so I just floored it. And I thought there's going to be a place to turn around. There's going to be signs. We'll come across a town or something. And we're driving. My brother who's sitting next to me is like, what was that? Like, that was so weird. But I'm being like extra vigilant, like making sure like there's no fork in the road I missed. And I'm just going completely straight. Like there was no turns.
Okay.
And still nothing, just trees on both sides of this road. And so I see up ahead, probably about 15, 20 minutes in, I see another break in the trees. And so I don't know if it's a house or what it is. I slow down to look at it. And it's 2 by left. It's
Okay.
the same gas station. But this time it was completely derelict and dilapidated. Like there was the windows were boarded up, like where the 2 gas pumps were gone. You could see like the concrete pad where
the base.
And then like half the roof was like caved in. There's like no trespass signs, and it was just completely like dilapidated. So I was like, at this now, and we could still and the thing was, our tire marks were still on the ground.
Oh my God.
So my brothers are screaming, and like one of them was like slapping the back of my seat and yelling, "Go, go, go, go." So I just floored again, because where are we going to go? Like, where am I going to turn around? Like, what's going on? And so I just keep going straight, like doing 90 miles an hour. And within 5 minutes, we hit the highway.
Okay. All right. So
it's a lot to unpack, isn't it?
Yeah. Like my first thought is like, if you're going to make a loop, that may happen to somebody who's, say, for example, lost in the woods. If you're in the woods, I'm former U.S. Army. So you would go and you point it, you get your compass, we're going west, and you look, maybe 100 yards down, 100 meters, whatever, and you see a point, you walk to that point. So that way you don't make that loop. Okay. Then my second thought, it reminded me of I think it's the second Matrix, where he's in that subway tunnel and he just keeps coming back, even though he's running straight. He runs straight and he comes out the other side.
Oh, with the family. Yeah.
Yes, right. With the Indian family. Right.
Yes.
Right. That is wild. That is wild. So, and your whole family remembers this. This is not like something that's, and do you guys did you guys bring it up?
So I don't have a relationship with my sister R. Like we don't. There's zero contact there. My sister-in-law and my brother, they're divorced, so I don't talk to her anymore. But my brother T refuses to talk about it. He will not talk about it. I've tried bringing it up to him before in the past.
Oh,
And the most recent time was probably about a year ago. And he got really mad at me and stormed out of my house.
wow.
He
So
did.
when you go to this gas station, okay, to know there's a bathroom, I don't know how it is, and I'm from Maryland, but right now I'm talking to you from Mexico. I'm here in the Yucatan. And yeah, hi. And so yeah, I don't know how it is down there, but I remember at least back in my time, you would go into the cashier thing or whatever, into the mini mart, whatever you want to call it, and you would say, hey, do you have a bathroom? They go, yeah. Can I have the key? And they go, yeah, but you have to make a purchase sometimes, or they'll give you like a key on the hubcap, or you
Not
just
not in the South. A lot of times there'll be a sign that say bathroom and you can just walk right into it.
walk right. And did you even talk to the man behind the counter at all?
No, no,
And he
not
didn't
didn't
say
say
a
a word.
word either.
Not a single word to us. I literally, like, when I tell you, like, I walked in, it's a real quick scan, like looking for a bathroom sign. So I was like hyper focused on that bathroom sign. Oh, yeah, I need a cigarette now.
If you'd like, it's okay.
I have to go outside for that.
Oh, okay.
But I just looked at the sign as the bathroom and just took off toward it. So I was just hyper focused on
Go in
that.
the bathroom. Yeah, your bladder's pushing. I gotta go. I gotta go.
Okay, and I had 3 kids at that point.
Oh yeah, so
Okay,
yeah,
I have mommy bladder. Okay,
yeah.
well, we gotta go. We gotta go.
Yeah, to use it as a trampoline there for 9 times 3, 27 months. That's 2 years of trampolining. Okay,
Right.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
So there really wasn't any, but it was the way he was staring. I was almost afraid to try to say anything to him. Like, is he gonna, like, what's he gonna do? But like the fact, like his eyes, like they were like regular eyes. It wasn't like all of them, but like his iris was like pitch black, like pitch black.
Oh my god, dude, that's really weird. Now you're getting me thinking about like the black eyed children and all this crazy stuff. Is
Yeah.
this like has this? I mean, we're going to come back to this, but is this the only thing that's been happening to your life? It's just this one incident that is so strange.
This type of incident, yes, but I've had paranormal experience my entire life, starting from a
Okay.
very, very young child. My
Okay.
mom was a medium. My
Okay.
grandmother was a medium. I
Uh
don't
huh.
consider myself one, but I can feel like energies. Like if something's shifting, like something's not right, I'm kind of like, yeah, I don't want to be here.
Like an
You
empath,
know?
like an empath kind of.
Yeah, I guess.
Right.
Um,
But that explains a lot, dude. So it's running through your blood. Your blood. That happens a lot. You'll hear people where they'll be driving. I've heard stories where people are driving down the road and there's this turn that there's always a house there,
mhm,
always a house there, and then on one day it's not there.
right.
For you, basically, you loop through time and you ended up going in the same direction. So you didn't stop, you didn't turn around, you kept going, and eventually at going 90 miles an hour, I guess you did the Marty McFly 1/88 and finally got through.
That's the joke. That's the joke with my husband. But
Oh, okay.
here's the crazy part about it
Doing someone else's
is
material, but okay, fair enough.
through all of this is so there was a lot of crazy coincidence. Well, it was coincidence, but a lot of things were happening on that day.
Okay,
Okay,
go through them.
Are you familiar with the CERN?
CERN, of course I am.
The CERN was turned on that day.
That day.
That I'm not done. Oh, there's more. There's more. There was a lunar eclipse that day, and there's a planetary alignment that day.
Yeah, that's enough. It makes me. What day was this? I'm gonna have to look back and see what happened to me. August something 2007. I remember.
But
Let me look
but
that
here's
up.
so when all this started, like I had this group of people who've become really good friends with me now. We talk all the time now. And the same woman that told me, her name's Constantine, told me about all that stuff, found out that in 2027, on that day, it's going to be another lunar eclipse and another planetary alignment. And so it's like, okay, so what you're telling me is I need to go back down there and remake that trip. And my husband goes, not without your Buick Rendezvous, and you got to make sure you get that son of a bitch up to 88 miles per hour.
Like I said, I'm over here doing your husband's material.
So, but yeah, there's a lot of weird things. I don't know if that had anything to do with it. I mean, it's a very huge possibility.
Is that when they it's a 2007, that's the first time they fired it up and it broke, or is that when they discovered the Higgs boson?
It's when it broke.
It's when it broke. Man, you can make of that what you want, man. But then you have, okay, so you have okay, let's go ahead and use sports analogy here. You have the trifecta of three things going on at one time.
I do, and the more I've talked, because I didn't know anything. I didn't think. You told me glitch in the matrix, I've been like, huh? I always, maybe it's like a ghosty experience I had or something, But the more I heard about like glitch in the matrix and the CERN and this and that, I'm like I think it just happened at the perfect time. But also, I mean, you got to think about it, our emotions were so incredibly high. We were leaving a funeral, burying one of our favorite.
Right, there's that too. World. Oh my God, dude.
So I think it was just a mix of just like the absolute perfect timing for everything to happen the way it did.
Right, you have to think about all the things. Your emotions are high, so you're like open psychically. Okay, that's going to happen. All right, you have to go to the bathroom, so then your you being at least in the bloodline of the medium, that with that thought, all your thought processing going to that part of your body, that you're emotionally like not being aware as much as you normally would be, so something can break through. And this is all conjecture, of course. We're just.
But no, I've heard that. I mean, you're not the first person that said that to me, because, one of the reasons this went as wild as it did, and I didn't think it would ever come to this, like ever. Like I didn't think, I'm going to be doing podcasts in 6 months. Is
of course not. It didn't exist.
I didn't think about it, but it's always been something like every time I go to Florida or come back, I always think about it. I've tried looking for this gas station many, many times. Really? I can't find it. Me and my husband actually just went down there back in May and drove and went to every exit between Tifton and Osceola, which is about 10 exits. And we'd go down an exit, drive about 20 minutes, come back, and we did every single exit for about 10 exits. And I mean, I've looked for it multiple times and never found it.
I would love to look that up on a GPS map. So, Ruth, did you say Highway 30?
No, it was 75 North.
75 North, and you said between Tipton and what?
Osceola.
Oh, how do you spell that?
Ocila.
Osceola.
Maybe double LA.
And this is in southern Georgia.
Yes.
Southern Georgia. What was the date it happened again? I'm sorry. I got it. For me, I'm a Google Maps guy.
No, August 12th, 2007.
August 12th, 2007. Yeah. That is fantastic. If you were to, have you looked? Okay, for example, the Mandela effect, right? You've heard of this, of course.
Yes.
So when you said you looked at the M&Ms, did you ever go back and look at like older M&M packaging and see if anything passes to see what year maybe you were kind of glimpsing into?
So I need to pull this up for you.
Okay, if you can pull it up, I'll share it.
Where is it? I actually had made a video on TikTok. I actually had a bunch of people ask me that exact same question. And so here it is. Perfect. So this is what it looked like. So that's
that looks like 70s, like the 70s. Yeah, exactly what I was going to say.
70s, late 70s, early 80s.
Right. And it also reminded me, do you remember Pet Sematary with the old man, Herman Munster? Where like, you don't want to go down now. That's like all these things were popping. Like as you were talking, all these feelings are flashing into my mind as well. And I've been on many trips. I used to live in Europe, and there's been so many times where I got to get off the road to go to the bathroom too. So I was like going like, like I felt like I was so emotionally attached to you having to go to the bathroom.
Right. So, the story gets deeper though.
Okay.
Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
Okay. So I always wondered like what happened. And so I shared my story with somebody. Her name's Ashley Inc. She does spooky, scary story time on TikTok. Just thinking maybe somebody else has seen this gas station. Maybe, she has a pretty big following.
Okay.
It blew up. Like it went completely insane. And she emails me and she says, hey, like, I have something to tell you. This guy named John Doe emailed me, and he thinks that the guy you saw at the gas station was his dad.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, I'm processing.
I'm like, process this. Like, I'm like, what the hell? So he goes on to say that in 1984, so now remember, what did the candy look like?
Exactly.
Okay.
I'm with you.
In 1984, his dad, who was a Vietnam veteran, heavily into drugs, big alcoholic, was working at this gas station. And he had supposedly he said he looked older than what he was because of all the drug abuse, the PTSD, all that stuff.
Right.
And that he had supposedly gotten clean for him and his wife and his kids or whatever, and had been doing okay. Well, he comes home one day freaking out, yelling at the top of his lungs that he just saw ghosts from the future.
Oh, God.
And he saw 5 ghosts from the future.
Okay.
So he goes into telling us about, like, he thinks it was Bobby's, or he couldn't remember the name of the gas station. So I asked him, now I'm going to show you the AI picture that I did. Where is it? So this is the AI rendering I did to kind of show people what this guy kind of looked like. Okay.
All
right. So we asked John Doe, like, hey, do you have a picture of your dad by any chance? Just so I could like see him to try to confirm if this is the same guy, because this is all just too.
It's lining up. It's lining up too much. Yeah.
And so he did send me a picture of his dad, and he gave me permission to share this. So,
okay.
But you want to see the picture of his dad?
Absolutely. No. Oh. Okay. That is weird. That is the same guy. That's the same person. I mean, AI willing. I mean, okay, say for example, you're a police sketch artist. You would be the most sought after police sketch artist in history.
Yeah. And like look at the side by side of this.
That's incredible.
Like, look, I mean, just see how he's gaunt? Like he looks healthy. Like his cheeks are fuller,
Only like the hair, but that could be a slightly later picture in his life than what you see. But if maybe a difference of maybe 5 to 7 years, maybe if you were looking at it, like, what I'm saying, like this is my dad or this is my grandfather. Here's him when he was, I guess, it looks like he's, I guess, I don't know, 55. And here's him when he's like 65, 60, something like that, 63, 65.
Right.
Yeah. So, okay. Being who you are, what do you do with that kind of information? What does that do for you? What does that make you feel?
So I always thought, like, if I get answers, I'll have closure. I can and honestly, through all of this, I have gotten more questions than answers.
I think that's what most things like this. You're going to get a lot more questions than answers.
And I think that I feel like at this point, I'm kind of at peace not having the answers.
That's a good thing.
I mean, it's been 18 years, almost 20 years. You'd think by now I'd be like, oh yeah, it's, I would still have, like, up until what was most last one I had? I want to say it was beginning of, no, it was April. I'd have dreams about it a couple times a year.
Yeah.
And it was just reliving the exact same thing over and over. And so after, it was kind of weird. Like, I shared the story, and that night, the dream changed for the first time ever. And instead of me like running into the bathroom, I run up to this guy in my dream and I start yelling at him, like, who are you? You know, what's going on? Answer my questions. Da, 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 da. And he lunges at me and I wake up.
Oh, shit.
And I haven't had any dreams about it since then.
The confrontation in your dream, like the acceptance of it. That happens with a lot of people, even when it comes to the, like the, just the idea in the, the concept of existence, being a person, and like, what is the meaning of this and this and that and the other. And you just, eventually you just have to go, well, I'm here. I need to accept it. The existential fear of death and things like that. I went through COVID with that. I was just like, oh God, what's going to happen? And then being really, really sick by myself, worrying about my family, you stay away from me kind of thing. So for real, this was 4 to 5 week ordeal for me back in 2020.
Yeah.
And,
I've had COVID 3 times.
Oh, I've had it multiple times after that. But I didn't take the old Vaxaruni. That's why I'm here in Mexico. That's why I'm here. They try to too much pressure. Me and my wife were very afraid of the whole situation. We're like, we don't know what they're going to do. You take COVID mentality and then you take German mentality and you put those together. And they stopped and asked me for my papers one time because I was working nights, and they go, you can't be out at night. And when the German police pull you over and ask you for your papers, you tend to get worried. And my wife was half Mexican, so we're like, okay, we're out of here. We're going someplace way off the grid. And and the acceptance of that, like I had to start my whole life like basically over again. That's why she's my ex now. But now I'm here, got a wonderful Mexican girlfriend, and everything's good to go. Life is peachy.
There you go.
That's the damnedest thing. That is the damnedest story. I remember Magic Daniel Cahoon talking about this, and I was on his 1-year episode, right? And he's like, that was the episode that changed everything for me, knowing that I'm on the right path. And I was like, okay, who is this person? I got to talk to her. And he goes, oh, here you go. Here's her information, and you gratefully accept it. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Like, I don't mind talking about it, and I figure, somebody else might hear something or might know something. I hear it and go, oh yeah, like I know exactly where that gas station is, or I might know that person, or something like that. So I don't mind talking about it. Because I feel more at peace with it now.
Even like, okay, you're talking about going down this road like for 20 minutes. It's just trees lined straight. It's kind of like going into a portal or a tunnel itself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like abstractly thinking, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I do actually have a person who had a very interesting time slip situation happen to him. I'll tell you about it real quick. His name is Neil Ballas. He was hanging out with this guy, and they had their beers pulled out. They had their, they rolled some, and they did a little, and
Gotcha.
So they had, and they're going to watch a movie. He said he remembers the movie coming on, and then he remembers the credits rolling, and the beers just sat on the table, and the sweat from the beers were all over the table. And then he was like, "What was that?" The friend said, "I don't know." Then his friend at the time, no longer, this always seems to happen, said to him, "Oh yeah, dude, I got CCTVs in my house." You know what I mean? He goes, "Oh, let's check that out." And you can actually see them just sitting there staring at the TV blankly as the movie rolled. And then as the movie stopped, they get up and walk away.
That's crazy.
It is, isn't it?
And that was another thing too, that somebody had also said something about, what was it called? Quantum something.
Entanglement.
No.
Quantum Leap, Sam Beckett. I'm sorry.
Right?
I'm a comedian. I'm a comedian by choice. So
it's something. And that was a great show.
It was, wasn't it?
The new one sucks though. What was it called? Quantum Immortality.
Okay, what's that?
Okay, so apparently, what it is like, let's say you're about to crash a car that's going to kill you. Mm-hmm. And the universe goes, this isn't the right path, or this isn't right. So it tries to correct itself, So what it does, it takes your, I guess, your soul, your energy, whatever you want to call it, out of that body, throws you into a different timeline, into your body in that timeline.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
I believe that.
Okay. So that was somebody else that said that maybe that's what happened is
Yeah,
we were
dude.
on 75 and something happened and we were thrown, and that the time, the glitch in the matrix is what's happening while the universe is resetting itself. And
I
that's why there's a glitch.
That is so interesting because now that you're saying it, it's making me thinking like you didn't hear anything about the Mandela effect before 2007.
Mm-mm.
I know I didn't. Maybe it's just
I
because
didn't.
the internet is what it is now. I don't know, but I don't
Yeah,
remember anything
probably.
about it. And do you remember too? This is going to be a little bit more philosophical, but do you remember back in 2012 they were talking about the end of the Mayan calendar,
Oh,
the change in the universe? Now I think it actually happens. To connect
and
to
we
what
just
you're
didn't know
talking,
it.
we do know it because now what's happening, whether and I'm not talking about politics, that's not important. That's not important. I'm talking about the availability to know what's going on in the world. Like everything is being shown, and so many people are like waking up to the fact like they can't. Now, I don't know how old you are. I'm 45, but you know, back in the
44.
90s. Okay, hello. Okay, so so back in the 90s, we just kind of like, you know, we disagreed with
Yeah.
everything. It was just they had complete and utter control of every bit of information that we know. And now, since 2012, have felt that people are waking up to whatever's going on. You know what I mean? That
Yeah.
it's insane all over the world right now. You know, there's upheaval in Australia, Japan. There was 7 people off in an opposing party in Germany, England, France, the States, even
Yeah.
Mexico, with all the stuff that's going on. Venezuela, I mean, the list goes on and on and on.
Yeah.
And
There's a
people,
lot of
they
craziness.
really see it. Right. It's not craziness. It really, if you look at it, it's actually us waking up. So maybe you're like, for some reason, I think a lot of things like fit together. It was like the Rubik's Cube of perfection on that
Right.
day for you. And it's just a theory and I was throwing it out there, man. But I think that's what happened to you, man. I think
It's very possible, you know, and but somebody had said that, and I thought that's actually that it kind of made me sad to think that, because at that point, you know, I had 3 kids at that point, and they were with their dad, and all I could think about was, well, then does my 3 kids in the other timeline, my original timeline, like think I abandoned them, like.
no, I think there's 2 different ones. I think what happened is like, okay, if we consider the concept of multiple universes, right? So there's multiple yous, multiple me's into infinity, doing everything possible all at one time.
Right.
So you just kind of just stepped over. You're still there. You're still caring about them, taking them. They're going to college. They're doing, you know, having families
Right.
of their own,
Well,
living.
that's the theory of the quantum immortality, though, is
Okay.
you're dying in that one timeline and
Okay.
jumping to another.
Uh-huh.
So that's what I'm saying, is like, it just made me sad to think that, like, I died in that timeline, in my original timeline, and my kids don't have me there now. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and like, it's just that thought, like, I don't like to think of that one. That's not my favorite theory.
No, I had another gentleman on. This is a wild one. He took a thing called he took a certain illicit substance.
Mm-hmm.
We're not here to promote that at all, but it's called Salvia divinorum. It's
I've
not
heard
good,
of it.
guys. Don't take it. Awful.
I've
It
heard of
used
it.
to be
Yeah.
it used to be legal until it fell underneath the 1970s Psychedelics Act. He
Yeah.
took this stuff in Alaska in his friend's basement. Woke up in a lake outside of Dallas, Texas. Right. His friends pulled him out of the water. It's on one of my episodes. He almost kicked the bucket, bought the farm, whatever. They pump him out with water. They rush him to the hospital. They all know who he is, right? And they're like, "Oh God, you almost made it." He's like, "Who are you people?" Da, 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 da. They take him back to his house. There's pictures of him all over the wall. Him with his friends that he just was on the boat with. He kept telling them, "I'm not from here." He started going to the job. Like they just like picked him up, or friend picked him up and started doing this job where he was like an apple farmer, which makes no sense because this isn't part of Texas. There's no apple farms. And all this stuff, he can actually, He lived there for 8 years. He eventually started to accept it because the hard part for him is not to accept that he's in a different world. He has to accept that his children never existed.
Yeah. See,
At
that's
all.
like, have you heard about the stories? And it's been a few different people I've heard stories about who have gone to sleep or they've gotten sick or in a coma or something. And while they're asleep or in these coma, they live full, complete lives. And then
Yes.
they wake up and they're like, none of it was real. And they actually like mourn the loss of their spouses, their
Yes.
kids.
Yeah.
I mean, like this one story I was reading about was this guy who it was like a 10-minute nap. Literally saw the birth from the time of his birth to the time he died. Like he died in a hospital bed and he woke up and he was in his living room with no wife, no kids, nothing. And he actually ended up himself because he was so depressed because
Whoa.
yeah.
So this guy, so he ended up accepting it, right? And one day he was walking across a field to see his friends now in his life that he just goes, I must have been messed up. He's carrying like a bucket of Kentucky Fried Chicken or a 6-pack of beer or something. And he just kind of sunk through the thing, woke up in his friend's house and just, and impede himself, screamed, and time elapsed 45 seconds.
See, that's crazy. So
Changed his whole life. Changed his whole life. He ended up getting divorced. He's now just a comedian that lives in Houston, and he just travels around an event. And he said, "I'm the happiest I've ever been. I used to have this great business. He sold it, and he's just like, I'm happy, bro. Like his acceptance of his mortality kind of freed him. It's weird, man.
And it's so funny because, like, for me, like, Glitch in the Matrix, all that science fiction, that's H.P. Lovecraft. That's a bunch of bullshit. Sorry.
No, don't worry about it.
But I'd have laughed at you. If you'd have come to me a year ago, I'd have laughed at you. Thought, oh, but the fact that it's kind of opened my eyes to the possibility of these things being real is just the amount of people who've had extremely similar stories to me and taking place in South Georgia.
Yeah.
That just, it's crazy.
Even makes me think of the 411. Have you heard of the 411? The missing 411. Have you heard of this at all?
Mm-mm.
Wow, you had to look this into. Okay, so this was in a very extremely rural area, correct? This is where you were.
Yeah, it was, well, especially back then. We went back there. I was like, well, it's really built up, but back 20 years ago, there was nothing out there.
Okay, so
farmland.
Okay, the 411 is a thing where people go into the national parks, right? And they just disappeared. They just disappeared. It's happened so many times. There's this one instance of a man, they were going out for a deer drive, and they came back, and this gentleman wasn't there no more. And they started calling for him, and they would hear him, and he would be like 50 yards away, but they couldn't see him. And then they got real dark. They're like, oh, well, I guess we'll look for him tomorrow. And then every day they would hear him, but he would be further and further away until one day they didn't hear him anymore.
That's
so
crazy.
It is, isn't it? But you've experienced something along those lines. It's just, if you're asking, you're looking for like tangled webs and connecting things together. Maybe this place back then was just, like, okay, say this is the Matrix, right? So it's like code. That's just like when you're out there, it's like tree, and then 200 yards later. Excuse me, I was in Europe for a long time. 200 yards later, there's like another tree, but it's the same damn tree, but you can't tell because you're just cruising along.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like it overlaps itself, and you don't need all that graphic. You don't need so many graphics.
Right.
So there was a mess up, and then this gentleman there who is an actual person who seen ghosts from the future. By the way, that will be the name of this episode. And it's just wild. It's just incredible. You've experienced something incredible.
And I also look at it this way too. Going back to just our emotional state, you had not just one person, but you had 5 people who were in a heightened emotional state. And I also think about John Doe's dad. He was an addict. He was an alcoholic. Mm-hmm. He was severely depressed, had severe PTSD. Imagine his emotional state at that point. Right. I think it was just the perfect storm. Right. It all just happened.
That is very insightful of you. That is a very insightful little nugget of like just conscientious thinking. It's very cool. That's very cool. Oh, all right, man. So, I mean, Is there anything else I can help you with? We're just kind of throwing around stuff. Hey, before I get you up out of here, please do me a favor. One more time, tell people where they can find you and promote anything that you're promoting, and especially your artwork and things like that.
Yeah. Again, it's Weeping Angel 81 on TikTok. That's where I do most of my social media. If you're looking for the Glitch the Matrix story, I answer a bunch more questions and things like that I didn't think about to say here. But I have a playlist on TikTok. They can check that out. And I think it's like 100 videos of me just answering questions from everybody that was sending you stuff. There's pictures and all kinds of stuff on there.
And hopefully we like the wider web that we spray out there. I think what happens too, because I also, being a former military person myself, I have a little PTSD. I have a little bit of depression, a little bit of anxiety. I'm trying to get some type of help from the military, but they're stonewalling me. I'm having a lot of fun. Yeah, he's getting stonewalled?
He's a Marine. Oh, so he's a Marine veteran.
I'm an Army veteran. So yeah. So I think, when you're in that trench, so to speak, the trench that you are in, which is one of the weirdest trenches in the world, is a trench with, neon lights and smoke and mirrors and all that.
Mm-hmm.
If there's somebody else out there who has similar experiences, it kind of makes you feel a little better, doesn't it?
It does. There's that validation of it, and then, and with the whole thing with John Doe coming through is everyone's like, oh, is it him? I think I still have that hesitancy somewhere inside of me. I'm like, I always say I'm 95% sure it's him because he has sunglasses on. I can't see his eyes. And I remember his eyes very, very vividly because they scared me because they were so black. I'm 95% sure it was him. But there is that validation of like, okay, I'm not crazy.
Right.
And like I was talking to my brother R, and I have text message conversations. He's deaf, so we can only communicate through like text messages, like an interpreter camera thing. And so it's really, we were going back and forth, and he remembered details that I didn't remember. Right. Like I don't remember there being a vehicle in the car at the gas station. He said there was a truck parked next to the building. I don't remember the truck. So it's kind of, he remembers the gas prices.
Does he remember the model? What's the gas prices and what model of truck was it?
Let me look.
Yeah, that would be great information. Now, that's interesting. Like gas prices being like, under $1 and like the truck.
I think you said they were under $1. Hang on.
Oh my God. That should have been the first red flag, wouldn't it?
You think so? You think so?
Like what is this? This is and then we have an old Jeep Willie over there, or Willie Jeep Willie.
So here, this is a good example. I sent him the picture. Here's a text message thread.
Okay.
And I asked him, I said, was this the man we saw at the gas station? He just said, oh shit.
Oh my God. And this is recently or what?
This was back on April 21st.
Okay, this is real recent.
I said, so is it? And he says, yes. And I said, how do you feel seeing the picture? He says, make me go pee. Which is his way of saying it made him piss his pants.
All right.
I thought, make me pee my pants too. When I saw it. Where's the picture?
Okay.
This is what he said the truck looked like.
That's like a 50 model Chevy. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. No, wait a minute.
So I don't know. And I've tried to. I've emailed John Doe, the email address that he sent to Ashley. Mm-hmm. Okay. I never heard back from him because I wanted to ask him, hey, did your dad have a truck?
Mm.
And I think that was like a little bit more validation.
Right. Well, I wish you luck on that part. I mean, you could try take some time in between, of course, and just, kind of and try and try. It takes time. It's a mystery beyond explanation. Nothing scientific will ever touch it. I really appreciate that you came on today and shared that with me. And,
you're welcome.
I hope you had a good time on the show.
Yeah, definitely.
And thank you so very much one more time. All right.
You're welcome. All right. Bye. Tom.
Okay, guys. Bye. So we are the Eye. We are aware. Love you all and have a wonderful day. You have been watching the Eye of Jupiter podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel and hit that bell notification so you don't miss any of your favorite interviews. And remember, we are the Eye, and we are aware.